Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I made cottage cheese yesterday morning before I headed out to the party. I had a few minutes, so I made it, and I had whey left over from it, and I'm going to be canning whey today, so I'm going to show you how I do this. Now, you're going to need a pressure canner for this one. I have already filled my pressure canner up 3 inches with water, which is very important. You're going to need a tray to put on the bottom because you cannot put jars directly on the bottom of the pot or they'll crack. This is one of my trays. I'm going to put that in. I have the jars in the oven at 220, which is boiling. So I'm going to leave them there for 20 minutes, turn them off, take them out, leave them right side up, and I'm going to let them cool because this is cold packed. That means this water has to be cold. This pressure canner has to be cold, the whey has to be cold, and those jars are going to have to be cold. This is why we're going to have to let the jars settle after. Now, on my pot, I don't have a gasket. All right, let me get it up. It's beveled here, right here, all the way around here. And on the lid, it interlocks on the edge here, which is beveled to fit in on this bevel, so it'll actually lock in. Now, what I do, you can use oil or Vaseline. I feel better using Vaseline. I get a better seal on it. What you're going to do is you're going to rub it on this. This is where it's going to stick. You don't want any air escaping, or you have a hard time getting your pressure up. Now where I live, I'm going to have to bring mine up to 10 pounds per square inch. That's a lot of pressure. They have it at 15 in some places, but I'm not there, so I don't have to use that high pressure. And some have a lower one. So I'm going to put Vaseline on this one, and then I'm going to take the lid and put it in the same area on the lid. So when I lock this in, it'll be sealed, and then I can build that pressure up. Now I bought this because I didn't have a gasket, which makes it easier for me. But if you have gaskets, remember every third time you use it, to keep it from drying out, you're going to have to oil it because you want to keep it from, drying out. Once it dries out, it cracks. Then you have to get another gasket if you can even find one. I couldn't find one. I had such an old pressure cooker that I had to buy a new one. And my son said, "Do you want a stainless steel?" I said, "No, just get me an aluminum one, So, while those jars are getting sterile, I already took care of the lids and the rims. I'll be getting the other stuff out for canning. And I'll show you how you do a cold pack. Cold pack is done with milk and whey. I haven't tried canning half and half yet, but I know how to make half and half. And I've already canned milk, and I can heavy cream. So I'm wondering if I can't can half and half, and I might try doing that tomorrow. And I'll walk you through it because I'll do it in a cold pack as well. I had a wonderful time at the party. We set up the buffets, and there was dessert, singing happy birthday to her. She turned 74. She's a few years older than I am. And it was just nice, just the whole thing. They were still going on with the party, but I got tired. It was getting close to my bedtime, so I had to get up and leave so I could close the house up. Now, you'll need your debubbler. You'll need some white vinegar. And you could use a measuring cup and pour it into the jars. That's how I'm going to do it instead of using my funnel And you'll need a rag or paper towel so we can wipe the rims when we get to that point. But those jars have to sit 20 minutes and then I'll be back with the other stuff. But I do have both ends of the lid and the pot greased, and I already have the tray in with the cold water. Okay, the jars have been in the oven a little over 20 minutes. We're gonna bring them out. I'm gonna put them on this towel here. We're gonna let them cool. By the way, the oven should be set at 220, that's boiling. And that's the temperature you put the jars in the oven. That sterilizes it. You don't want to go lower, you don't have to go higher, but it must be 220 in the oven when you do it. And 20 minutes is more than enough time for them. Now I'm going to leave them and let them cool, and I'll be back when they're cool, and then we'll start canning. Okay, everything is cold now. Now we can actually start canning. It's a little dark in my kitchen today, isn't it? Oh, I gotta get light bulbs too. What we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves a 1-inch headspace. For you people who don't understand when I say headspace, what we're talking about is from here straight down 1 inch. So they say a 1/4 inch headspace, they mean from the tip, just a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch or whatever they say. Now, I don't think I have 4 quarts here, but I put the extra jars out just in case. Now, if the headspace is less than an inch, you get a ladle and you just take it off to bring it, you know, back down to an inch. If you have less than an inch headspace. Now let me get my measure, my ruler actually, and we'll find it. Oh yeah, we have to add more. Let's see, this one, I put a little too much in, so I'll have to take a little off. Like I said, different ladles are great. Well, that should take it right to an inch. Yes, it does. Okay. In spite of it being liquid, debubble, because there are little bubbles that sit on the bottom. So you knock those free and they'll come up. Because if you don't debubble, those bubbles can cause it to go bad. And I don't think after you do all this hard work, when you want something like that to happen. Now all you have to do is get some vinegar, a napkin or a paper towel, and carefully, without getting it in, you're going to wipe the rims off so we can seal these jars up really, really nice. Pour your extra vinegar into your pot because that will keep your jars clear. They won't become cloudy. Let me start getting rid of some of this. I'm going to need the measuring cup because I have to put it in here. Don't need this. I don't need this. Make sure you put them on straight. Do not push the bubble down in the middle. That's how you're going to know they seal or not. Finger tight, because this is cold pack. I don't need to use anything right now. I can just lay the jars in by hand. There's always one lid that gives me a problem. This jar that I'm filling up, I'll show you, is not going to be full completely. I'm going to stick it in the refrigerator and cook with this one. I don't have to can it. I'll just stick it in the refrigerator if I can find room. My girlfriend has 3 refrigerators. She says, Sandy, I need it. I said 3? And I have a large one. And believe you me, she uses all 3 of them. Okay, this one goes in the refrigerator because it's not canning. All right, I'm getting stuff out of the way so I can move you over. All right, we have the jars in here. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to put my lid on. Try to put it on as straight as you can. I don't always get it, but I work at it. This is an All-American. It has an arrow here and a dent here. When I line them up, I've got it. As they say, you have it. Then what I have to do is make sure there's equal distance on all of these. So when I go to can, I don't get any leakage. Sometimes, no matter what you do, you're going to have that problem. I'm just setting it right now. Now, I'm just going to tighten them. You don't have to go crazy tightening, believe you me, but you can tighten them. Now I'm going to turn this on a high heat. Now, I have my gauge here, right here. It has 0, 5, 10, 15 pounds per square inch. According to where you live dictates if you use the 5, the 10, or the 15. Where I am, it's the altitude. You'll have to look that up on Google. Like, what is the altitude of Beeville, Texas? What is the altitude of Atlanta, Georgia? What's the you're going to have to, and they'll tell you, and according, because the instructions come, they'll say according to that area, will tell you if you use the 5, 10, or 15 PSIs, which is pounds per square inch. Now, when this starts venting here, we're going to let a steady stream for 10 minutes. Then we're going to put the gauge, let me get my weight and I'll show you the weight. Now, this is my weight, this little thing here. Now it has, on this side, 5, 10, 15, according to your pounds per square inch. Once this is a steady stream for 10 minutes, I'm going to put this on where it reads 10, which is right here. This is 10, so this is where I'm going to put mine right here, and I'll just put it on like this. As soon as it gets up to 10 pounds, this weight is going to start jiggling. Because this is a cold pack, as soon as it does that, I'm going to turn this heat off and let it depressurize back down to 0. Once it depressures down to 0, we'll take this back off and let it vent another 5 minutes. Then we can open up the lid. So that's what we're going through. But right now, we have to build the pressure up and get this little vent to start venting for 10 minutes. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, you see that steam? It's coming through and it's getting the air out. When it becomes a steady stream, we're going to put our weight on here. and then we will clock it. Well, we're not going to really clock it. We're just going to get it up to 10 pounds, and then we're going to turn it off because there's no clocking, because it is a milk product. All milk products do not get clocked. They just sit there and get up to the pounds per square inch for your area, and then we turn it off. There's no timing of 30 minutes, an hour and a half, 15, none of that. It just get it up to whatever your PSIs are for your area, and you turn it right off. So it's almost a steady stream. Okay, it's been venting 10 minutes steady. I'm going to put it on. I didn't want to get burnt. That's why I didn't put you where you could see it. I put this on as soon as this jiggles and this hits 10 pounds, because that's the area for me, 10 pounds PSIs. We are going to turn this off and let it depressurize. Okay, so now we just have to wait for it to jiggle and get up to 10 pounds and then turn it off. Okay, it just hit 10 pounds and now I just turned the whole thing off. 10 pounds PSI, and I've turned the whole thing off now, and I just have to let it decompress. Okay, it's at 0 here. So we'll take this off and let it go for about 5 minutes. So we'll open it, and you take the jars out, and that's it. Put them on a towel and leave them overnight, and in the morning the bubble in the center should be sucked in. You can take the rim off, wash your jars and the lid, mark them, date them with what's in it, date them and write what's in them. Sorry, I said that a little backwards. And that's it, and that's how you do whey. Just like milk. And I think tomorrow I might try to do half and half and see how it comes out. And we'll see if I flop on that, but that'll be an experiment because I haven't seen anybody do half and half. But because I know how to make half and half, it should work. Now, I have made evaporated milk, but I have never canned it, so I don't know how it would react with being canned because I've never done it, but I might try it. Anyway, listen, just have a lovely day, okay? Bye-bye. And by the way, the white stuff you see on the bottom, you can cook with it. It's proteins. So you just be adding it into gravies or soups or something. You have nothing to worry about. You don't have to throw it out. It's very healthy. It's the building blocks that you need for proteins within the whey. You don't see it if you don't can it, but if you can it, you always see it at the bottom. Just shake up your jar and use it.